Now, let's get to the big story, which I think is impacting the technology market here. Samsung stock tanks in Seoul, even as the company reports record preliminary Q2 operating profit of $58.4 billion. Now, we're seeing some of the other stocks like Micron is trading down on this, SanDisk is trading down on this. So I really think that this is kind of leading to where we are here in the morning. We'll see if these stocks have enough strength to kind of firm up on their own, but this is what's going on here. On Monday, Samsung Electronics, which is on the OTC with ticker SSNLF, posted record preliminary second quarter earnings, underscoring the strength of the AI-driven memory chip market despite higher employee compensation costs. Samsung said its preliminary operating profit for the April to June quarter reached 89.4 trillion won, or 58.4 billion USD, and that's up from 57.2 trillion yuan, or 37.58 billion USD. And that was in the first quarter, and 4.68 trillion won, or 3.07 billion USD in the same period as last year. The South Korean technology giant also reported preliminary revenue of 171 trillion yuan, or 11.23 billion USD, compared to the 8.79 billion USD in the previous quarter, or the 4.9 billion USD a year earlier. The results mark a sharp turnaround from last year's performance and represent one of Samsung's strongest quarterly showings to date. Over the past 5 days, Samsung shares have fallen 12.18%, but the stock remains up 108.33% over the past 6 months and has surged 376.09% over the past year. Analysts noted that the preliminary figures already account for one-time expenses tied to employee bonus provisions following recent labor negotiations, as reported by CNBC. Earlier this year, Samsung reached an agreement with its labor union to eliminate the previous bonus cap of 1,000% of base salary. Under the new arrangement, the company will allocate 10.5% of its operating profit towards employee bonuses, ending a dispute that followed weeks of union protests seeking a larger share of the company's earnings. The announcement represents Samsung's preliminary earnings guidance and includes only top-line revenue and operating profit figures. The company is scheduled to release its full second quarter earnings report on July 30th, when it will provide a detailed breakdown of results across its business divisions, including its semiconductor, mobile, and consumer electronic businesses. So again, this is just preliminary, but it's very clearly having an impact on some of the stocks over here. Really, I guess the big thing to kind of keep on watch is what happens on July 30th when we get the full earnings report and the breakdown of the other divisions. How does that go here? And what kind of impact does that have on some of the other stocks in this sector? So we'll see. This is what's weighing on it here today. We'll see if this is enough to carry into the New York session. We'll see if we can maybe reverse this. You know, we've often talked about how it seems to be easier to trade on gap down days versus gap up days. A caveat there is unless it just keeps getting pounded all day. So we'll see how this ends up shaking out. And then the other thing, we will continue to take a look and see if there is any rotation out of some of these names into ones like software names or something like that, which we've seen before.